Should parents stay together for the sake of the kids? And it's simply not an easy answer, and hence the great dilemma when parents are wanting to get divorced. Because I think on the parental side, parents are trying to get out of a really unhealthy marriage or relationship, and on the other side, they love their children and don't want to hurt them. And so often parents are conflicted for a long period of time before they can make that decision. And so it's not a simple answer, but I think there's some things that one can think through. And so some of those are, first of all, fighting isn't necessarily bad for children. In fact, the old adage was that if parents were going to fight, they should fight behind closed doors. And I don't think I agree with that philosophy, because even when parents are fighting, children really can absorb the emotional tension between the parents. And so they know, they feel, they live the parents' relationship. So it's not fighting per se. It's not do parents fight or not fight. What's most important is, are they able to repair? If parents are able to fight even in front of the children and repair the relationship, children walk away learning so much about life and how to maintain relationships. And so I think the problem comes in when parents are fighting and can't repair anymore, and they simply don't see hope for putting the relationship back together. And I think what's important for parents to consider is how much tension is there in their relationship, because that tension is going to affect the children. What the research shows us is if there's a lot of conflict between the parents, if there's high conflict, whether that means fighting and shouting and screaming and explicit miscommunication, or whether that means under the surface there's a level of contempt and there's a lot of stress and strain, that is the most detrimental thing for children, to live around that type of tension and stress. So if parents find themselves in a relationship that's very disconnected, and they can't repair it, then yes, I think there are two things to consider. We either work on our relationship and change it because it's not healthy for the children in that environment, or we call it a day and we end up separating or divorcing, because we have to get the children out of that type of a high conflict relationship.
Should parents address that, hey, mom and dad are fighting, that's normal, we're okay, when they are okay?
I think that's lovely. I think it depends on the personalities and temperaments of the children. I think some kids just know that. Other children are very sensitive. It actually takes me back to times in my life when my parents would fight, and I automatically thought, oh, that must mean they're getting divorced. And I was sitting with all these fears in my head when that wasn't the case at all. So if you've got a more sensitive or anxious child, I think being as open as possible is a lovely way to really teach your children. Everyone has misunderstandings. Relationships take hard work. When we're fighting, did you notice how mom and dad put it back together again? Mom and mom, dad and dad, we all have to work on our relationships.